check, 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 check. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing. Push these faders all, yeah. Testing, testing, testing. Okay.
then we didn't change shirts.
We finally got it right. And we looked down and you had plugged your car back.
Are you good in that? You want it PNG? Fair. I think we're good.
So I can see.
I was just trying to slide away from you.
No.
So I don't like. Oh, I'm in the line.
There we go. Okay. Good morning and welcome to our final session. What? Good morning and welcome to our final session of Discovery Weekend 2022. My name is Emmy Nichols and I'll be going into 10th grade at Vestavia Hills High School. After attending Discovery, you may be wondering how to get more involved with Thrive during the school year. If that is you, we want to let you know a few important dates coming up. August 17th, we will kick off prayer breakfast in the fellowship hall at 6:30 for games, breakfast, and a devotion. As a student, if you have been inspired by our senior speakers this weekend and want your opportunity to tell your story, talk to Jeremiah or Kinsey to sign up for a date. If you love D groups this weekend, you should definitely register for Tribes this school year. Tribes is a twice-a-month gathering at a Thrive family home where we come together to eat and talk about life and faith. The middle school has boys and girls gathering at separate homes, and the high school all meet together in one home. Our first Tribe gathering will be on August 14th. Please sign up as soon as possible so we can find as many host homes as we need. Every week we have Sunday school in our hall with classes for all grades. Sundays can begin coming to the hall at 9:30 to play in the cafe room or hang out. The lesson will start at 10 and we hope you will join us. For more information on our Thrive events and ways you can stay involved with us, please visit our website or the Thrive location on the VHUMC app. Please remember to pass the attendance pad so we can celebrate your attendance with us this morning. If you would now turn your attention to the screen, we have a few video announcements we would like to share.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Connor King.
And I'm Nash Osborne.
Because it's almost Discovery Weekend, we wanted this episode to be all about our students and our Thrive student ministry.
Because let's face it, it's always about the children.
So here are a few announcements meant just for students. Twice a month on Sunday, families in our Thrive community have opened their homes to our students for a time of fellowship, food, and Bible study. We have tribes for middle school boys, middle school girls, and co-ed high school students. Each tribe gathers from 5 to 6 p.m. with high school students leading devotions, discussions, and games. This could be a great opportunity if you don't have any friends, which I imagine is most of you in the audience right now. So join Thrive Tribes. Nothing says the church is heading in the right direction, quite like getting high school students who have no biblical knowledge to lead devotions.
Smell of bacon slapping you in the face just sounds good, right? Okay, come down to prayer breakfast, one of the most popular ministry opportunities we offer to students each week. Middle and high school students are all welcome to get an awesome breakfast while hanging out with friends, playing games, and hearing a devotion by a fellow student or Thrive staff member. What may be the best of both worlds for students and parents is we provide transportation to Vestavia City Schools. So join us for prayer breakfast, where we celebrate that not eating bacon is not a sin anymore.
We offer service opportunities year-round, ranging from day trips to Bundles of Hope to week-long mission trips with Appalachian Service Project. No matter the activity, we love offering our students the chance to be the hands and feet of Christ in a very real and tangible way. So we hope you'll serve with us. And guess what? You can get service hours. Because let's be honest, serving those in need is only worth it if you get something out of it in return.
We take trips every year, and one of our favorites is our high school ski retreat. We hope you'll join us as we head to Lake Junaluska, North Carolina in 2023 for a weekend of fun, fellowship, and skiing. And if that doesn't make you want to join us, let me ask you, have you ever seen a turtle rolling down a hill? That's what Jeremiah Stone looks like when skiing, and it's quite a sight to behold. So sign up today.
And now we have a few announcements meant for parents and adults. Has your 2022 been dull? Looking for more risk and excitement in your life? Well, it's no hidden secret that many lawyers reside in Vestavia Hills. If you aren't one yourself, you more than likely have one in your family or know one really well. So want to risk having a lawsuit filed against you by one of them by having many teens come to your home twice a month doing who knows what? Then become a tribe's host home. Contact Jeremiah Stone or Kinsey Butler if you're ready to live life on the edge by opening your home to many teens with attitude problems and holding near total financial and ethical liability for their well-being. Then become a tribe's host home.
Ever dreamed of being an aspiring bus driver, but never had the skills nor the time? Well, boy, do we have a happy medium for you. Become a prayer breakfast van driver and ferry 14 screaming middle schoolers to school on Wednesday morning. Not only will you be a big service to our church and our students, but you'll also help make sure I don't get a text from Jeremiah Stone on Tuesday evening saying, "Hey, are you free tomorrow morning?"
Every year in our church, our sixth graders go through a process of deepening and becoming more committed to their faith that we call confirmation. These students don't walk through this process alone, however, but they have mentors who volunteer their time to pour into these students. And that's why we're asking if you'd want to be a confirmation mentor. So if you want to be responsible for determining whether a student goes to heaven or hell, contact Jeremiah Stone or Kinsey Butler.
We're almost always needing trip chaperones. All of our retreats and mission trips can only happen with adults giving their time and energy to drive and supervise students on our various Thrive outings. So if spending your Saturday dealing with someone else's kid's medical emergency or someone else's kid losing their mom's credit card or changing a van's bus tire on the interstate sounds fun, then contact Jeremiah Stone and Kinsey Butler and become a trip chaperone.
That concludes our notes update. Once again, I'm Connor King.
And I'm Nash Osborne, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good morning, I'm James Bentley. I'm going to be reading the congregational concerns. So in the hospital or rehab, we have Dito Anthony, and our sympathy goes to Caroline, Bubba, Frank, and Celie Jordan in the death of Carolyn's father, John Oliver Ross Sr. of Gunnersville, Alabama on July 30th. And we continue to pray for all of our first responders and healthcare workers. Now if you'll bow your heads and pray with me. Dear God, thank you for another wonderful Discovery Weekend. Thank you for the seniors who spoke to us of all their experiences. We're thankful for all the middle schoolers and high schoolers involved this weekend, as well as the adults who helped set this up for us. God, we thank you that we're a part of this church and this church family and this Thrive program. We pray for the upcoming school year and all the teachers and students. Please help us to be an image of you throughout the school year. Amen. Now our offering story. This weekend has marked the 13th annual Discovery Weekend with our Thrive student ministry. Over 200 students and adult volunteers spent all weekend studying the book of Daniel, worshiping, singing, praying, serving and learning about God's unfailing love for each of us. This huge weekend event is the highlight of the student ministry year and welcomes students from across our community to experience Christ in new and energizing ways. This weekend is never possible without the tremendous support of volunteers and the prayers and gifts from this congregation. As our ushers come forward, let us continue to worship God through our gifts and offerings.
People come together, strangers, neighbors, blood is one. Children of generation, of every nation, kingdom come. So don't let your heart be in trouble. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one true. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where help comes from. Whoa, 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 whoa. Jesus, our redemption, our salvation is in His blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, His kingdom come. So don't let your heart be in trouble. Hold your head up high, don't fear no evil. Fix your eyes on this one true. God is madly in love with you. So take courage, hold on, be strong. Remember where help comes from. Whoa, 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 Swing wide, all the heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, let the praise go up as the walls come down. All creation, everything with breath, repeat the sound. All His children, clean hands, pure hearts, good grace, good God. His name is Jesus. Swing wide, all you heavens, in his blood. Jesus, light of heaven, friend forever, his kingdom come.
Good morning. My name is Savannah Gann, and I'm a senior at Vestavia. This weekend would not be possible without the over 100 volunteers who gave their time and resources to make Discovery a success. From host home families, D group leaders, worship leaders, band members, food servers, paint crew, and the missions team, I want to thank you for being available to lead us during this life-changing weekend. Because of this church community and their willingness to serve, all of us students were able to learn more about God and his love for us. We also say thank you to the senior students who shared their stories with us and allowed us to see how Daniel and his friends are still relatable to us today and our struggles. This weekend has served as a great reminder to us all that even as we face life's many lions, we have a strong community surrounding us in prayer and love. Again, thank you so much for a community that helps us experience a Christ-centered life of purpose so we can go out and invite others to experience the same thing. And we want to give a huge thank you to Kenzie and Jeremiah for all of y'all's work. Thank you.
He's coming on the clouds. Kings and kingdoms will bow down, and every chain will break as broken hearts declare his praise. For who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him. So open up the gates, make way before the King of Kings. The God who comes to save is here to set the captives free. But who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before him. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty?
Good morning. My name is Kinsey Butler, and I am the Assistant Director of Student Ministries. This weekend has been absolutely amazing and has been one of my favorite discoveries so far that I've been able to be a part of. For those adults and family members in the room who didn't get roped into helping us this year, know that we'll get you next year. And I'll let you in on the secret of what your kids have been up to the last few days. On Friday, Senior Meg Trammell kicked us off with an introduction to our theme of the book of Daniel and how when we face the lion of change, it becomes a great opportunity to solidify our identity in Christ. When everything around us is shifting, being firmly anchored in our identity as sons and daughters of God can change everything for us. On Saturday, we started the morning with senior speaker Chase Rose, who spoke on the lion of peer pressure we so often face, no matter our age. He reminded us how important it is to have a strong circle of faithful friends during times of temptation. We were created for community, and he showed us through the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego the beauty of having people stand with us for the right thing when everyone else chooses the wrong thing. We then had a time of missions, and I just have to give a quick shout out to our incredible missions team led by Anna Watts and Lauren Hayes because they raised the bar this year. This discovery, we served more organizations, family, and people than ever through our projects, and our students were able to embody the servant heart of Christ in so many different ways. We bundled diapers in the fellowship hall for Bundles of Hope, a Birmingham diaper bank that serves families across Alabama. And with each bundle wrapped, students were shown that the lion of need can be overcome through Christ. We created overnight duffel bags for Firehouse Ministries, a nonprofit dedicated to serving the homeless men of our city. They were filled with toiletries, snacks, shoes, and other items as students were reminded that the lion of homelessness can be beaten through the truth of the gospel and servant hearts. Next, we created toiletry bags for the women of the Love Lady Center in Irondale, which provides programs and training for women in an effort to lower the recidivism and incarceration rates in our state. Students played a part in facing the lion of generational poverty and realized they're never too young to make big changes through God's love. Our classic Discovery mission of packing school supplies still is featured in our missions rotation, and this year we packed for Miracle Academy, a Christian school here in Birmingham that takes the initiative to educate special needs students and honors the uniqueness of every child. Students came alongside the school in their mission of facing the lion of developmental difficulties and were reminded that every member of the family of God is equally deserving of love and compassion. And finally, we served with our very own VHUMC food pantry down on our Thrive Hall. As grocery bags were packed to be distributed outside of the lighthouse once a month, students were reminded that lions often approach our neighbors, threatening their most basic needs for food. Students were inspired to face lions on behalf of our brothers and sisters and fight for them right here on our own campus. During this rotation, I personally was encouraged by the fact that while the church is a group of people and not just a building, our congregation is such a great steward of this church building and our facilities. And it's so special to be in a place with compassion, partnered alongside initiative to use our blessings to turn and bless others in as many ways possible. Then we heard from our senior speaker, Mary Catherine Meeks, who spoke to us about the often hard-learned lesson that the lion of weakness can lead us into a greater understanding of true freedom. When we allow God's power to move on our behalf, and we release our own desire for control over our circumstances, we experience His ultimate purpose for us, even in the middle of some of our darkest seasons. We then had a time of communion, recreation in the gym, prayer here in the sanctuary, and letter writing, where our high schoolers and adult leaders wrote notes of encouragement to one another and to our middle school students to remind them of the support that they have along their faith journey. We had our last senior speaker of the weekend last night with Luke Pappalardo, who taught us that not only do lions often eat people, but the glory of God that can come out of our seasons of loneliness. That we may battle the feeling of isolation from our peers or from being socially outcast in our different circles of life, God's acceptance of us and His love for us can sometimes be highlighted best when we're alone with Him and we're able to turn our focus fully on God. Of course, the weekend wouldn't be complete without a celebration, which happened in the parking lot over in Tyson and featured fried Oreos, axe throwing, a very well-conditioned, air-conditioned game truck, and the world's largest volleyball game. As the number of kids walking around with blue lips from the snow cones went up, so did the number of boys walking around in sleeveless Discovery shirts. I don't know if that was a direct correlation or if there's causation between the two, but if you get home to find that your son's super cool Black Lion shirt is now only appropriate for Planet Fitness outings, I promise we didn't order them that way. Every year, Discovery is such a special time to celebrate what God is doing in the lives of our students, while also anticipating the joy He has for us as we all start a new school year. I was just telling someone yesterday that when I was in college, I used to talk about how being in full-time student ministry was my dream job. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of making that dream come true in my life. I'm so honored to be a part of this church family. And while Discovery makes me drink more caffeine than normal, it also makes me incredibly thankful and humbled to be a part of what God is doing here at Vestavia Methodist. Students, I hope that you will all take this momentum and use it as a springboard to launch into your new school year with enthusiasm and obedience to the Lord. Take what you've heard this weekend, apply it to your life, let it transform your relationships with each other, and let it push you to taking the next step into deepening your walk with God. We all face our own lions, but we also all have a God who isn't intimidated by a little roaring by the lions we come up against. He stands with us when we choose His path. He walks with us through the fires, and He sits with us in the darkness until a new day and a new fountain of joy comes along. Thank you, Discovery 2022, for teaching us so much about how to handle life with grace, faithfulness, vulnerability, and fun. You are definitely one for the books.
I have to follow that up. My name is Jeremiah Stone. I serve as the pastor of students, and it has been an absolute honor and joy to be a part of this weekend. As I've reflected on this weekend and we've talked about these different lions that we face, we've talked about quite a few lions, and we've worked with and for different lions in our lives. But I want us to know that these are not the only lions that we face. There will be different lions that we face in our lives, lions that we have no idea that are coming at us. But one thing that we haven't necessarily talked about in the exact way is that we haven't. There is one lion that we have talked about, we've sung about, but we haven't actually named. This lion is always with us. This lion is mentioned in the Bible that isn't scary. There's a lion that defeats all other lions. One lion who will face the lions in the world that you face. This lion is the lion and the lamb. We've sung about this lion. That lion's Jesus. And when you're in the lion's den that many of you have been in, you're not alone, just like we've talked about. Just like every single one of our speakers have talked about, you are not alone. One of our main songs this weekend, named Lion, talks about Jesus, talks about the Messiah, talks about this one who has and is to come. And I want you to know that you are never alone. And when you're in the lion's den, when you're learning what you're going through, when you come out of that experience, you get to tell others about what you have gone through. And so, students, my challenge to you is now to take the experience that you've had, take the lines that you face, the lines that you will face, and continue in your faith journeys, continue on the discipleship pathway, and you have to follow where God's calling you to go. You can't let the discovery high stay right here. You can't let this moment stay in this sanctuary. You can't let it stay in these walls. You have to let it go out from here. So I want to challenge you in this moment, wherever you're going from here, to get involved. Get involved in a small group, get involved in tribes, get involved in leading in this church, whether it is in missions, whether it's involved in leading in a team here at the church, whatever it is, get involved. If you can't drive, talk to your parents about getting you here. High schoolers, if you can drive, I encourage you to make the effort to get here and be involved in some way. And make sure you tell others about what is going on in your life. It's up to us as Christians to continue on this discipleship pathway that we talk about and tell others about the ways in which we've experienced Christ working in our life, helping us battle those lions in our lives, and also how we're growing in our faith, how we're surrounding ourselves with those small groups, how we're working to experience His love and share His love with others. That is what it's about, my friends. That is what this weekend is about. Coming together to learn more about God and then taking it here and sharing it with others. So if this is not your last discovery, I hope to see you here again next year. But I hope to also see you here many more times between here and next year. And I hope that you'll also bring a friend. Parents, I hope that we see you here as well. I hope that we are able and encourage you to get involved here with the student ministry, with your students, because let me tell you, they need you and we need you, because we're all in this together. And while Kenzie and I have both talked about Discovery a lot, and you have heard about Discovery, there is no better way to see and hear Discovery than to actually see a video about Discovery. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our tech team to show us a video of what has happened this weekend. There are no other words to describe what an amazing weekend this was. I hope that this will be a weekend you will never forget. And now, let us continue to worship. Please stand.
Love explode, bring the dead to life. A love so bold, see revolution somehow. Love explode, bring the dead to life. Love so bold, see revolution somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom. Know this world now overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive and he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive and he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. Yeah. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom. Know this world I've overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive and he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive and he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. Ever know when fire fall, come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Evermore when fire fall, come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Fire fall, come shake the ground with the sound of revival. My God's not dead, he's surely alive and he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive and he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. Yeah, he's surely alive.
Well, as Kenzie said, this has by far been one of the best discoveries we have ever had. And my friends, I hope that you leave here knowing that you are never alone, knowing that you always have someone on your side. May you go in peace knowing that the Father is always with you. Students, this is time for you to go to the Lighthouse. Parents, if you will please stay and wait for them and give them time to get to the Lighthouse. And then after that, we will release you to go pick up your students then. Students, you may go now. This concludes our service.